Hello, everyone. Monkey here, and hope you're all enjoying the holidays. We are starting a collection of 31 Advent calendar videos, with today's video being on Transformers Legacy Evolution Metalhawk. This figure is one figure I don't know too much about, but is one I've enjoyed deeply because of its remold from Cyclonus, a figure I've wanted for quite a while. Unfortunately, just missing out on, but that's just the nature of this, right? But what I do know about Metalhawk here is that he is the leader of the Autobot protectors, no, pretenders, or at least that's what I've come to learn. He also made quite a few appearances in the Japanese side of the Transformers media, which is also why we don't know too much about him in the more Western side, or at least I don't. I haven't heard too much about him. I do know that he showed up in a 4-pack during Time's Return, the battle on Autobot C, I think. It was the same pack that came with Nautica and Laser Prime, I believe. Like, again, I say I don't know too much about Metal Hawk. What I do know is I love this figure. Sorry, drinking some soda. This figure is stuttering. You gotta love it. This figure has been a genuine treat for me. I got this guy a few years ago at my local Ross for $17. I believe that was including taxes and everything else. So, the routine, the usual. Metalhawk here is just a personal favorite in the collection. I don't play with him too much anymore, but I do enjoy grabbing him, flipping him back and forth, seeing what I like, seeing what I don't like, going on to little things here and there, which is also why he's the first one to start off this Advent calendar set of videos, which I am excited to do. I can't remember last time I've done a proper Advent calendar, besides the chocolate ones going over the nasty chocolate, because, it was a dollar store Advent calendar. It was bound to taste like crap, and that's what it was. It was crap. Yeah, that's besides the point. This figure is wonderful though. And I cannot wait for you guys to see the pure joy that this guy brings me. I enjoy all the little details, the greeblings. Look at all the wing details here, along with these. Actually, I'm not too sure what these are. Again, I don't script my videos, so I don't learn about the figures too much. I go off of my personal beliefs and views on these guys, what I enjoy about them. And, where do I go with this? Metalhawk here is a Cybertronian jet, I believe. I'm going to look that up just to be sure, because I do not want to be wrong with this. Alright, I looked it up real quickly. It just says he's a generic Cybertronian jet, though some sources describe it as being similar to a souped-up F-15 Eagle. So yeah. As Google, the AI, Google has declared, a generic Cybertronian jet. Which, honestly, kind of fits Metalhawk. He's a character I know very little about, so having him be a generic jet is kind of nice. I like having more background vehicles and background-ish characters. That's why I enjoy having the Sparkless Seeker. It's a great figure, great mold, and I enjoy having a background character. That's why I enjoy Fugitive Waspinator from Age of the Primes. He fits that role pretty well, too. But we'll get to Waspinator later on. He's definitely going to be part of this 31 days thing. So yeah, with that being said, let's go into some size comparisons, details, thoughts, transformation, another set of size comparisons, articulation, and final thoughts. So yeah, size comparison time. We'll start off with Core Class Bombburst, as he's the only Core Class Jet-ish figure I have. For Deluxe Class, I could have picked the Aerial Bots, but I wanted to go for Decepticon, and the only other Deluxe scaled flyers I have would be Darkwing from Power of the Primes. For Voyager Class, I actually had a bit of a variety going for me. Could have gone with 86 Coronation Starscream, or Sparkless Seeker, or, the choice I picked, G-Axis, which is honestly a really good figure. Just a shame that instead of yellowing, he greens. He turns like this weird shaded green, which I do not like. So yeah, let's give some room for our final one. Since I don't have any leader class flyers anymore, some of you might not know this, I sold off Skyquake. I regret that deeply, because as irritating as his transformation was, both modes were really nice. But yeah, with that being said, we have leader class 86 swoop for our leader class scale. And as you can tell, quite a wingspan on a lot of these guys. You know, swoop absolutely outclasses. Damn, he really does. For a more fair size comparison, we'll get a G-Axis and Metalhawk in here. About the same length. G-Axis just being a touch smaller. It all depends on perspective. If I go from this, like bird's eye view, you can tell G-Axis is smaller. But if I do this, then it's hard to tell because he's so close. He's much closer to the camera. Don't really know why I'm telling you guys this. It's like as if you guys don't even know how this works. Sorry if the video did a weird cut. I had to help my little sister with her tub of Legos. She's 7 and she has trouble picking it up. So I had to pick it up and bring it in my room for her. But back whew. Wow. I'm stuttering a lot today. My apologies. Like I was going to say though, back to the review. I can't remember what I was talking about now. Crap! That happens. By the way, Metalhawk here is wonderful. The sculpt work here, all the panel lining, the cockpit detail and paint. The underside, I mean, it's pretty clear that there's a robot under here. Not much else to say that denies it, which is unfortunate, but hey, what you gonna do, right? And anyways, compared to most jets, this is pretty fine, actually. Kind of hard to tell that there's a robot under there with the side view. Unlike G-Axis, where if you look under here, it's harder to tell that there's supposed to be a robot under all this, but that side view is terrible. While with a Darkwing, I mean, you can clearly tell that's just a scrunched up robot. And it doesn't compress as good as Metalhawk does. And Metalhawk has the excuse of being an alien jet. Darkwing here is a real Earth mode jet. That's going to be really weird. And obviously, you know, I can't expect much out of Bomb Burst. He's a core class. There's only so much a core class can do with their budget. To be fair, we got some black magic with that wheelie over there that I have. Dude was a core class and just wonderful. I'll say, figure was wonderful. And just for the sake of consistency, swoop on the underside. I mean, obviously, you're going to be seeing this mode a lot from the underside, so not as obvious. You know, besides the arms being right here. A little harder to tell, but you can still tell it's there. So yeah, with that being said, we'll go into the transformation. First thing you want to do is remove the sword. You have two options of tabbing the sword into the alt mode, either using these two tabs right here and here, plugging them into those slots right there and there, or taking this tab right here and plugging it into this hole right here, which does move the sword a little further up, so it's not sticking out of the bottom as obviously, like so. But it is a lot tighter. So that could risk shearing the peg or putting stress on the blade if you want to pull it off like that. Personal preference though, so it all depends on what you like. But yeah, so you remove the sword and you remove the guns. The guns tab on pretty well, and honestly I like that they have somewhere else to go besides on the wings, which is another option, but not one I'd be using. But yeah, so you remove these from their respective slots. These tabs go into these slots right here and right here. And if you try putting the other one on that way, you will just end up with the wings facing down and looking all jumbled up, along with the guns being uneven with each other. Because of the gimmick of them tabbing together, they have to be in this order right here. And because they're in that order, meaning that if you're tabbing in like this, it will be slanted. So yeah, you want to put these together for robot mode. And now, we start my favorite part, the transformation. the first thing you want to do is kind of start shifting the legs down, like so. Don't pull too hard. I'm not too sure the durability of this figure. I've had him for 2 years and no signs of breaking, but just be gentle. Take a little bit of time. But yeah, once you shift it down like this all the way, you want to collapse it just a little so it don't look too weird. Because if you pull it all the way up, then you just have this really obvious gap right here. And I know a lot of people don't like that, so just kind of have it fill in those spots a little bit, like so. Come to the back of the legs, lift these little turbine pieces up, and these are Blast Effect compatible, by the way. Should have mentioned that. The thrusters back here are Blast Effect compatible. So if you have any small enough Blast Effects to fit in here with all 4, that will work. But what you want to do is lift these parts up and lift this entire back piece up. There's 2 pieces because, 2 legs. But yeah, let's just tab those back together for a moment. Next step you want to do is flip out the feet, like so. Collapse those all the way in, then push it in. Then push the feet down. The feet don't lock in, but just so, I guess not stability yet, but just so it don't look all off. Next thing you want to do is untab the legs now. The next piece of this transformation is you want to shift these joints upward. Move them out of the way so they don't collide with anything, and rotate like that. That's about 180 degrees, because this would be 90. Yeah, this should be 180 right here. Next thing you want to do is pull this back piece off and pull this front piece off. Fold in the nose cone, like so, and rotate around. Next thing you want to do is come to the back, tab it in. These tabs right here and here, slide into these slots right here and here. Collapse everything together like so. Then these tabs right here and here will go into these slots right here. And then these little gaps will go into these tabs right there. And it all locks it together. Next thing you want to do is untab the wings from the arms and collapse them inward. Flip out the wrists, or flip out the hands from the wrist. Same thing on the other side. Flip that out. Give Metalhawk his guns and sword. And there you go. You have yourself a fully transformed and configured Metalhawk. Now I'm going to go get the other guys transformed, get them ready for size comparisons, and I'll see you all in a little bit. Alright, got the other guys transformed, so we're now going to get into my thoughts. Oh no, final thoughts comes later. We're going into details. Metalhawk here is honestly a wonderful looking figure. We'll go into... Should we... You know what? Let's do accessories first. Metalhawk's sword is honestly a very lovely sculpt. I love how it looks. I'm not a huge fan of the shade of silver and gray that they used for it, though. And this is the same material used throughout the figure. I'm not a huge fan of this. And then a year later, they released that gunmetal gray variant, which I much prefer the look of. But I'm not buying that. I already have this guy. If it really does bother me so much, I could literally just paint him and this. I have the silver paint right there. I use the silver paint to fix Menasor. Part of his face, the paint on his face chipped, so I had to fix that. But yeah, I say if it really bothered me that much, I could just paint over it, because I'm not dropping another 35 to maybe another 15 if it's at Ross again, just on the gunmetal gray variant. Would I prefer if they did the gunmetal gray first? Oh, for sure. Because the colors that these are in are bad, honestly. I don't like these colors at all. The colors for the main figure, though, I do much prefer. I feel like the blues, the golds, the reds, the silvers work really well around this Games Workshop gray here. It's the same stuff that they use on my speed stick here. Seriously. Okay, it's a little lighter, but point there, They say that there's a point to be made. But yeah, the plastic is looking when it comes to this gray stuff. But besides the plastic color and material, I really do like how the sculpt work on the sword is. On the back, you have some waffling with these hollow spaces here, here, and here. On the front, just a touch here and on the handle, but the handle has that on both sides. And that's just so they save a little more money that they can put onto the figure or use on the paint budget. So yeah, I don't mind too much. And honestly, the retooling from Cyclonus to Metalhawk is honestly a wonderful job. They've done a wonderful job with this. He looks great. I'm happy with how he looks. He looks wonderful. And it's clear that they spent a lot of that budget on, retooling and the new paint, the new parts. So I'm not mad with the colors that they picked at all. The colors are good. The figure's great. So yeah, it's all wonderful. It all feels good. Little shake test. Let's say the joints are going to hold, though. Let's say, you shake them around a bit. Yeah, they're going to move, but if you move them down, they're going to hold. If you move them up, they don't hold. They're not moving either. Let's say, the parts are a little loose. I'll give you that. They're a little loose. But he's going to hold his pose really well still. This figure is, I do recommend this guy, honestly. Metalhawk is a great figure. Made from an even better figure, Cyclonus. I'm still waiting on that 86 repaint. Let's say, Cyclonus is beautiful. He was released the same year 86 started, back in Kingdom. I think that's 2021, right? 2019 was Siege. 2020 was Earthrise. Yeah, 2021 was Kingdom. The same year that Kingdom was released, 86 started. And in that year, Cyclonus released. As part of Wave 1's Voyagers, wasn't it? Yeah, because Wave 1 had Black Arachnia, Paleotrex, Warpath, and Cheetor. Wave 1's cores were Optimus Prime, Rat Trap, and I think Vertebrake. Wave 1's Voyagers were Cyclonus and Primal. And I don't think there's a leader to Wave 1, though. Yeah, I don't think there was. I'm getting off topic. Cyclonus was a great figure, and I feel like I've never owned a Cyclonus. I can't say he's a great figure, but going off of this, I believe he's a great figure. And I am excited for when they do that repaint for 86, because having a Cyclonus in a dark, or at least like a deeper shade of purple, like a more rich shade, and maybe those 86 Toon colors, I feel like would work wonderfully. That's why I ordered that new Perceptor, actually. You should all be able to... Wow. Damn. Y'all should be able to see him either Wednesday or Thursday, or... I'm getting a few of my teeth removed on Friday, so when I come back, and if he's there, there's a good chance you guys are going to see me out of my mind on anesthesia or on meds when I come back, because if I'm doing the advent calendar thing, that's gonna be weird. That's gonna be a really weird day for you guys, because there's a good chance I might not post on the 5th because of that. If that does happen, I'll make 2 videos for the 6th, and I'll post an extra video on the 6th, so y'all can have the video that you missed for the 5th. That's if I don't post on the 5th, though. Yeah, we'll see what happens. But I'm going really off topic here. Y'all are here for Metalhawk. So let's get back to Metalhawk. Metalhawk here is honestly wonderful, though. The figure looks great. He feels wonderful. The sculpt work, and honestly, just overall proportions of this guy, feel, look, and honestly, well, I was just going to say feel great. This guy feels great. He feels worth the $35, and he was worth so much more once I got him for the $15. Honestly, if y'all can find the Legacy United version of this guy for cheap, get that one. If you can't and you find this one for real cheap, get this one. These figures are wonderful, and I love how they feel. So yeah, we're going into articulation, size comparison, And my final few thoughts, since I seem to be saying my thoughts a little early on this. So yeah, articulation, head's on a ball joint, looks up that far, looks down that far, tilts side to side, and 360 rotation. Arms go up that far, down that far, full 360, as it's on a pin system. So yeah, full 360 all around, bicep rotation, or bicep swivel. Straight down, goes about that far before it collides with the wings. Only goes that far the other way. If you want to move the wings out of the way a bit, it will go a little further that way, and we'll go about the same on the other side. 90-degree bend, 90 degrees exact. Oh, hit the camera, can't do that. 360 rotation at the wrist. A little hard to get to on the wrist, because this little piece here and my wrists on this guy are a little tight. For some reason, they kind of lock in when I rotate the wrist. A little weird, but hey. He has a 360 waist rotation. Legs go forward that far, back that far, and out that far. 360 rotation at the thigh, double mushroom peg, thank God. Knees bend back that far, and can bend a little further down with this extra joint and stuff. Readjust. Foot's on a pivot or a tilt, so you can get to go forward like this if you want more dynamic slashing pose. And there is a full ankle tilt, just like that. So yeah, all that's left is size comparison and closing thoughts. We'll start with core class once again with core class bomb burst. Like so, if you want to stop trying to fall over. Deluxe class Darkwing. Voyager class G-Axis. Just realized G-Axis is a good deal taller. And finally, leader class Swoop. Now, with that all being said, should you all get this figure? If you have the money to spare and are looking for an Autobot aerial, or like an aerial, well, actually the aerial bots are an option. But if you're looking for like just a good Autobot figure for pretty cheap, because Metalhawk here goes for pretty good prices on the aftermarket actually, goes for retail or cheaper. So yeah, if you can find a Metalhawk or his United variant, which is the preferred variant, has all this gunmetal or this Games Workshop gray gone on that version. So yeah, you get gunmetal gray instead of this weird gray if you get the United version. But like I was saying, if you all can find Metalhawk for a good price or a retail price, I do suggest getting him. He's a great figure. He feels well worth my money because, well, considering that I got him for $15, of course he's gonna feel well worth my money. But I feel like I don't feel like I'm just being scammed. You know? I don't feel like I'm losing money when I buy this guy. If I bought this guy for $35, I'd be happy. I bought G-Axis for $35, and I'm more than happy with him. Even if he does have the whole greening effect. A lot of people hate him for that. And gaudy colors, too. You know, look at him. But yeah, let's say, get Metalhawk if you find for a good price, or just looking for a good, fun figure for your collection. A little generic. I will say this, Metalhawk is a touch generic, but he's fun. He's honestly a really fun figure, and I do think he would be worth your money. So yeah, if y'all are in the market for a good figure, get him. Find him for a good price, get him. Heck, let's say if you are just in the mood for a good aerial style figure, Decepticon or Autobot, Metalhawk fits that role pretty well. So yeah. With that all being said, I think that concludes today's video. See you all tomorrow. I'll try and make tomorrow's video about Medics. He's been the guy I've been trying to figure out on doing a review for a little bit now. So I'll try and get his review out tomorrow. So yeah, I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you for your time, and happy holidays, everyone. Or I guess we're not at the holidays yet, but we have started December. Woo!